with the really long shot in the tent, I was curious if you and the actors could talk about the preparation that went into that, or how many takes.
Sure, it's 19 minutes long, that scene in the tent, and we did it 3 times. And the first take, like I said, that was in the middle of the woods, and Bryce started crying during the first take. And I said, I thought that was really good, but I don't think your character would cry. And he goes, my character's not crying, I'm crying. Why are we filming this here? We could shoot it in a hotel parking lot. And I was like, that's really good. Use that energy. Just don't cry. I don't know if you guys want to talk about it.
Yeah, no, we were really up there. I mean, we drove probably we had driven 12 hours from LA to Willow Creek. And then we thought that was far, and then it was like 3 more hours on a dirt road where literally we were stopping the car waiting for the cloud of dust to disperse because it was just straight down. So it was dangerous where we were, definitely. And we went to sleep after those 3 takes of just being terrified. And we're like, okay, good night. We're all sleeping in all different tents in that area. So it was pretty scary, for sure.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. He basically told us, I want to try and do a long take where the film kind of takes a turn. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how long it's going to be, but, so just kind of go with it, And so we really had no idea what to expect or what was going to happen. We were just kind of in that tent. Everything happened really organically, But I always like to say, part of me was like really scared, and then the other part of me was like thinking of Bobcat, like half naked with like a stick and like on the rocks, and like, so I had to like stay focused.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I'm Bigfoot. The half naked part is somewhat true. I really kind of went insane when we were making this movie. It really was my Fitzcarraldo. I was like, I'm gonna hit this movie, and yeah. So there was some ad-libbing that they weren't aware of that from my side, which would have been throwing a rock at their head. I probably should have given a heads up on that. But, hindsight,
How did you think all the tracks along the river?
Well, how do we make the tracks and how do we make the Bigfoot sound effects? There was a handful of us, and I was listening on an earpiece so I could tell when they were calming down, and then I'd cue people to do another sound, and we were slowly coming in closer and closer to the tent. And the prints, I actually took up a cast from the Patterson cast and carved out my own wood footprints. I'm sorry, guys. And but what I learned this is like when you have those things on, they're like snowshoes. So I could do this, but I couldn't get my foot to come around. So it really kind of showed how hard it is to make it. And then I was stuck, and then I couldn't move, and I'm stuck like this. And then I just said, I'm out. So I had one of the young PAs, I go, put these on, I can't do this. and that's how, so, but I do feel like an asshole, because when we left, we forgot to brush our So, sorry guys, again, if you get a frantic call from Bobo, you take it with a grain of salt, You never heard about him, so good. Hi.
How much of the alleged behavior in the film and the noise and everything is based on research that has been done?
Well, we were trying to stay close. How do you feel about that?
I would say with the possible exception of death, damn near all of it is pretty much spot on for Bigfoot behavior. And that probably is one of the things that makes Willow Creek one of my favorite Bigfoot movies ever. Actually, the favorite Bigfoot movie ever. Because
You're forgetting the Paxton Gimlin footage.
well, yeah, but that's not a film necessarily. That's footage. That's a different category, of course, But I'd say Bobcat truly captures the feeling of being inside of the tent when the big guys are around. They don't usually come around in that number, of course, but like when you hear those knocks, you hear those calls, and hopefully you have a friend with you or something, and you can say, so what was that? You know, and if you both come up with nothing else but what the big guys sound like, well, then you're onto something. And I would say Bobcat truly captures that. It's the only film I've ever seen that actually puts you there, out in the woods, in the dark, with a Sasquatch or two around.
Did I get someone in the back? I'm sorry, all the way back. Oh, okay. The back in Bizarro world would be the front. So, okay, Portland.
How many people actually up the shooting and training at the same time? And were there any situations where you played where you worked with the sound outside the tent and took a shot of them that we didn't see on film at the time?
No, I mean, all in with the cast, there was 7 of us to make the movie, but no, but myself, I did get a little frightened when I was out there sneaking up on the tent, because I was like, you know, the irony of me being mauled to death wasn't lost on me, you know. It's like, Bobcat killed by Bobcat? You know. So, now I'll win back as a gentleman in a white shirt.
Just, you know, you're saying that you originally saw this like kind of in a Christopher Guest style. How much like the basic storyline just changed?
Yeah, I jettisoned it. Originally the movie was going to be, I went to a convention and I found it really fascinating, just like all facets of life, being religion or stand-up comedy or whatever. It's fascinating to me how many people who believe in the same thing have infighting. And I went to this convention and most people believe Sasquatch has not the pointy head, that's some Steven Spielberg bullshit. And Jimmy Kimmel called this movie Scary and the Hendersons, which I liked. And this guy had a pointy-headed cardboard cutout of Bigfoot, and the guy goes over to the guy's booth, and I'm eavesdropping, and he goes, "You disgust me." And he goes, "Why?" He goes, "Look at that pointy-headed Bigfoot." And he goes, "Really? I've seen him 3 times, and you're never going to see him because you smoke." There's 2 schools of thought, right? On the tobacco, they believe the native people believe that you leave it for an offering, and other people believe don't smoke tobacco around Bigfoot. But I noticed that a lot of the researchers have no problem with grass. There's a lot of weed smoking going on. I'm not saying anyone up here, but hi.
Is the last name of the missing woman an intentional foreshadowing, or am I being too green?
No, you were dead on. That was Evan who came up with it. And Mary Ann is my mom's name. We thought it'd be funny. And my mother said, "Mom is going to kill you when she sees that." But yeah, that was all Evan, our DP, who came up with this one day.
But we should talk a little bit about your brother. He plays the guy with the ukulele in the movie. And when Sasquatch is in the bush shaking it, that's the only time Timmy has been in a bush, if you get what I'm saying. And the first take of that, he's making the bush go like this. Like it's supposed to be scary. And I go, I don't know how to say this. And I go to Amy, but your brother's got to make the bush, and Amy goes, less gay? I go, yeah. The bush is way too gay right now. He's got to push it up a little bit. So. Any questions for the cast while we have? Hi.
I'm just curious, who was mostly responsible for the Bigfoot gay laborer dialogue? Was that in the cast?
That's just all of us jamming together when we saw it, you know. So
that shit was very funny.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, we just were kind of riffing on that, and that was one of the things we first saw when we rolled into town. We're like, oh my God, we got to get that in there. So we just added that in, and we were just kind of like storytelling.
It's a great insight to Willow Creek and kind kind of like the paradoxes you're gonna see there. You're like, it just lets you know you're entering like crazy territory, and I love that mural. I'm so glad the artist let us put that in the film. It's definitely says so much, you know.
Yeah, a good majority of the folks are actual residents, you know. I find it really funny to me that this woman who's been running the center for 20 years doesn't believe in Bigfoot. Outside of growing marijuana in that community, Bigfoot is the major industry, and she also, it's not in the movie, I should have put it in, she bragged herself. She clearly had enough of our bullshit and at one point just went, I'm gone, and walked away. I regret